Artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, is the ability of a digital computer or computer-controlled robot to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI is a constellation of technologies that enable machines to act with higher levels of intelligence and emulate human capabilities to sense, comprehend, and act. These human capabilities are augmented by the ability to learn from experience and adapt over time. AI is still maturing as a technology, but today's systems have a rudimentary ability to understand human expression, tone, emotion, and the subtleties of human interaction. While AI development has a long history of excitement, followed by long disappointment, today we're experiencing an unprecedented period of technological innovation across various sectors that is driving the growth of AI. The two critical factors driving this growth are the increase of digitized data in the global economy and the unlimited access to computing power and lower costs for data storage now available over the cloud. The rapidly developing set of artificial intelligence technologies has the potential to solve some of the most pressing challenges that impact sub-Saharan Africa and drive growth and development in core sectors. Forward-thinking policymakers, innovative startups, global technology partners are already mobilizing to promote the growth of a vibrant AI ecosystem in Africa. However, as with other transformative and revolutionary technologies, there are challenges that can hamper the development of a healthy AI ecosystem in Africa. We chat with Lavina Ramkisoon, an AI strategist and ethics mentor, to see how Africa can embrace these challenges and create a clear roadmap to guide the adoption of this technology.
Lavina, glad to have you on Tech Trends today.
Hi there. How's everyone doing?
Hi. Hi. So let's start by understanding what artificial intelligence really means.
Yeah, I think it's a good question in terms of the common folk and how it actually translates to who we are. And I think for us, it basically means understanding our digital citizenship. It means understanding and having access to large amounts of information with relative ease. And I think, that just not only talks to AI, but it talks to just technology in general.
As AI continues to evolve, how do you think, or do you think Africa is taking full advantage of it thus far?
Yeah, not just yet. So I think Africa still has a large learning growth spurt to go through. So in terms of understanding its true potential against our real world day-to-day impacts. So, for example, it could mean us unpacking it in the healthcare sector. And what does that truly mean for us as a citizen at the end of the day, right? What is the real life impact? So this is where we talk a lot about applied AI, not just the research, not just the ideas of what we think and where it can actually lead to.
And then, of course, looking at it from the context of Africa, with all the data we're generating, smartphones from various countries, various kinds of apps, what sort of policies do we need to ensure that we're on track when it comes to ethics around AI?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one because the policies is definitely one part of it, but then the infrastructure is the other part of it. So if we unpack the policies itself, we're looking at things like, taking into account biasness, we're taking into account diversity, we're taking into account transparency, accountability. Those are key sort of foundational areas that need to be looked at, right? On top of that, it is also, do we have the right kind of environment for AI to actually be applied to? So this is not only from a skills perspective, it can be from an infrastructure perspective, it can be from a funding perspective as well. So, for me, it's very much a well-rounded sort of view.
And then let me bring something else that, we often heard of, but these days it's not in the news so much, and that is net neutrality. Does AI ethics, how does it play with the issue of net neutrality?
Yeah, very interesting question. And I think, we're in an interesting space because, of GDPR already being set on the forefront on an international perspective, and now sort of drawing it into the African perspective. We haven't had quite a great adoption rate in terms of data privacy and data policies yet, but I think it is coming, right? It kind of takes a bit of maturity. We have, out of the 54 different countries, probably about 5 or 6 that actually have already adopted it and have passed it as a law. So yeah, I think, the ethical considerations kind of need to filter through, not only from a perspective of policies. So once we have these policies, how then does it actually filter down to who we are, right, and what we're using? And that is very much ingrained in each business, in each tech institute that's here. So us as a normal person, we need to go and question people, suppliers. We need to question the vendors. We need to be able to question our partners and say, are you actually following these kind of things, as well as internally, right? So internally within our organizations, we need to be bold enough to say, where is this actually coming from? Is this originated? Is this actually being fair? Is this actually being true? Is it actually holding people accountable, right? And to what extent and what degree?
Oftentimes, I see a number of smartphones that come loaded with all kinds of applications, and I keep wondering, are you in any way worried about the fact that certain people are not asking the right questions when it comes to their data in a digital world?
Yeah, I think you touched on a good point. And this is something, that needs to be driven not only from a product perspective, but also from an overall executive level. And I think that's something that we lack. But it is something that we can use as an opportunity at the same time, right? So asking the questions from a product design together with the impact. So, a lot of the time we create things because we tech people and we think it's really cool, right? And yeah, sure, our friends say they'd use it. But we need to kind of start thinking a bit broader than that, in terms of saying, what is the real life impact? What is it? What does it mean to my grandmom? Or what does it mean to, the elderly population within Africa? What does it mean for, so whichever sector you take, or what does it mean for the millennials, right? So I think we need to start widening how we actually think of design and designing solutions, design problem solving. All of that is encompassed in us sort of putting those filters through.
Well, finally, before I let you go, give us some tips. What are some of the tips you will leave with us on how best to maximize AI as we build and as we solve problems?
Yeah, I think, the first point of call is understanding your privacy. So when you're creating and designing things, understand it from an end user perspective, and their journey, right? Not necessarily from what is best for us as an organization or as a business. I think that is changing tenfold. Secondly, it is around ethics and, how ethical are the things that we're creating and what is the actual impact, right, to any of us. The other one would be around sustainability. Sustainability, let's start looking at the real African problems within the continent, and then taking it into retrospect in what we're creating and how best can we leverage that, or how best can we add value to that sustainability. And then I think it's innovation. Be as creative, be as crazy. I think with us, it's been very much a creation from a need, not necessarily a luxury. And I think, that's our differentiator as a continent. And I think, in terms of equity, equity is not only in terms of our IP, but, value the things that you're doing, value the people around you, and be all inclusive of them. Because I think, the nature of the African culture is very much all inclusive, right? We love being part of a community. We love talking. We love engaging. And let's leverage that in terms of our AI.
Lav, thank you for being on the show today. Keep doing what you're doing. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, Lav.
Bye.
Bye.